Hi everyone, this is Ramanuj from 𝗏𝗏. Thank you for joining me. How are you guys doing? Please introduce yourselves in the chat. Introduce yourselves in the chat. Who's with me today? Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, write yes in the chat, please, quickly. Hi Dipankar, hi Gaurav. What about the rest? Hi Dileshwar. Okay, please introduce yourselves. Are you a law student? Are you a lawyer? What do you do? Hi Tapas. Practicing in Hyderabad. Dhananjay. Okay, so good to have all of you here. Let's get started with our presentation today. So how many of you have done any work in technology law already or have some experience of practicing technology law so far? Have you done anything in the domain of technology law so far? No experience yet. Okay, no problem. So I'm going to give you ideas today on how you can build a technology law practice. How many of you are law students here? Tell me in the chat. Okay, there are a few law students also, so no harm. You can always learn about how is it to build a law practice. It will help you, right? So first thing is that while I'm going to give you like a 3-month kind of plan today, that you can, if you do these things in 3 months, you are going to start to see some results. But it's important to remember that a law practice takes a long time to build. I'm not saying that your entire practice will get built just in in 3 months or something, right? But in 3 months you'll be able to build a core of a practice. You will start getting clients, you'll start to get results, you'll start to earn some money, you will start it's like a beginning, right? And you can very much achieve that beginning. This is something that it's a good start that you're aiming for. Many people struggle for this. They most people find the starting so hard that they're not able to ever build their practice because they are not able to start. They are so afraid. They sometimes keep doing jobs that they don't really want to do. They have a dream of building their own law practice, but they never get to it because they simply do not have the confidence to do that, right? So a law practice takes a long time to build, but I'm going to give you a 3 months plan, right? There are, at the heart of building a practice, there are certain habits that you need to develop, and if you have those habits, then building a law practice is not hard. Okay, and I'm going to tell you how to build. You have to understand a few basic economic aspects also, and in 3 months you can develop habits as well as get some initial results if you put in a focused effort. Okay, so what stops most lawyers from building their own practice? What do you guys think? Just think of this question, that if many people want to build their own law practice, right? Many people in fact want to become lawyer for this reason, that they can have independence. Unlike in many other professions, in law you can have an independent profession. It's a you can be your own boss, you can have your own clients, you can have more freedom over your work and everything. So what is it that stops most lawyers from building their own practice? So Abhishek is saying perseverance. I mean, they have perseverance, so they can't build it, or is it that they don't have enough perseverance to build it? Lack of it. Okay, no, they don't have enough information. Gaurav Narwar is saying. Dileshwar is saying getting clients is hard. What else? Can you think of other reasons? Lack of experience. Okay. What could be the other reasons that stops people from being able to build their own practice? Lack of skill. Okay, so I'll tell you what I think. Okay, there are some people watching this on YouTube. I invite you to also write in the chat, okay, what you think. Okay, there is not enough market for fresh lawyers. Okay, let's see what I have written down a few things. First thing is that most people do not have confidence. Many people would say, maybe some of you also can relate to this. You will say that, oh, I'm not ready yet. First, I have to work with a lawyer, learn a lot of things. I still don't know anything. Only when I learn a lot of new things, then only I can have my own practice or have my own clients. Before that, I don't know enough. So I have to keep working for someone else for a long time before I can actually work on my own. In reality is this, that it's not a very viable thing. If you cannot do work and you're hoping somebody else will teach you, anyway nobody will give you a job. At least if you get a job, it won't be a well-paid job. It will be like a very low-paid job. So if you don't know how to do work, anyway you are very much screwed, right? Many of you might be experiencing this also, that if you don't know how to do the work and you can't deliver work for the client, then why would someone hire you and pay you salary either way, right? So that is a big question. Then so lack of confidence stop a lot of people. So many people do not think that they are ready yet to start their own practice. Even people with 10 years of experience, 20 years of experience think, I can't do it, this is too much, I'm not ready, all of that. Lack of specific skills and knowledge to do client work. So if you want to succeed, be as an independent lawyer, as somebody who's able to do their own practice, you need to have at least some specific skills and knowledge that clients will pay for. And many people truly do not have this, and they know that. Lack of business development skills. So some of you said that, yes, how will I get my clients, how will I get initial clients and all of that. And that is a big problem with a lot of people, that they have no idea how to do business development. Where will clients come from? Okay, so that is definitely a big reason why people cannot do it. They have a lack of clear plan. So even if many people start and they have to shut down because they don't have a clear plan as to how they will survive, how they'll get work, where will they put in the effort. It's not just I will work very hard is not a solution, right? Where will you put in your work? There has to be a proper plan. There has to be a strategy for things to succeed. And most people do not really have it. And this is also a reason why people are not able to succeed in building their own law practice. Okay. There are 4 main aspects of building your practice, which I want you to pay attention to, right? 4 aspects. Can anybody, can you think what are those 4 aspects? Can you guess? Maybe your answers will match with mine, but you can try giving your answers first. Let me see what you have to say in the chat. Give it a shot, come on. Writing skills, speed reading. No. No. Creating a personal brand, maybe. Confidence is not a skill, not a knowledge. Sure, you need confidence. You need language also. You need to speak in a Hindi or English, some language. But that is not the point. Like, what are the main aspects of building your practice? Anybody else can guess? Knowledge. Okay. What else? Okay, so I'll tell you. One big aspect is how will you find your initial clients, right? This is something very important. It's like, it cannot be this chicken and egg problem that I don't have any experience, what is to be done, blah, blah, blah. You need to have a initial set of clients who will give you work to prove your mettle and to create a track record, right? So this is very, very important. Then second question is, why will those clients want to work with you? So even if people are contacting you to check, how many lawyers, if you talk to them, you'll see they'll say that, yeah, I have inquiries. I was just talking to one of my students few days back, and he said that I have had 30 inquiries in the last 10-15 days, 30, and none of them have converted. Okay. And this is a problem many people have, that they have learned how to get a query, somebody is coming and saying, okay, tell me more about your services, how much will you charge, what will you do, etc. But it is not converting into real work. So what will you create? You have to do some things so that clients who come to you, the inquiries, the incoming queries will convert into paid clients. Okay, this is a very important aspect of this thing, and you have to figure out what are you going to do that this will actually happen, right? So this is the second aspect. Third aspect is how will you deliver results? How will you do the work? Say somebody comes to you and says that, okay, I want you to draft a technology licensing agreement, okay? Or I want you to draft an investment agreement or whatever, some franchisee agreement, or I want you to help with this consumer matter, or I want your help, there is a shareholders dispute or whatever. There may be n number of matters and they want your help. Now, can you actually do the work, right? Somebody says, do a GDPR audit on my company. Do you know how to do a GDPR audit? Now, this is very, very important. How will you deliver work? How will you deliver results to the client? Very, very important. Third aspect. And the fourth aspect, this many people ignore, even experienced lawyers who have started building their practice, they ignore this and they are unable to build their practice because of that. Okay. Why will these clients want to work with you again and again and refer others like them to you, right? So do you have any answer for that? How many of you are lawyers here? So if some client has worked with you, Vaibhav, you are a lawyer, so you can think, you can answer this question in the chat. If somebody has worked with you, do they come back to you to give you more work? Do they refer others like them to you? Why is it that they'll do it? What is the reason? Do you have a reason for that? What is the reason? Answer in the chat. Come on, tell me. Yeah. So these are the four aspects. I'll repeat this for you, just so you remember this. If you're trying to build a practice, 4 big questions, write this down and try to answer these things. How will you find your initial clients? If you start your practice without answering these questions, it is very, very hard. It's like you are shooting in the dark. Why will those clients want to work with you? If they come to you, and by the way, the answer can improve. The answer can be as good as you want. And over time, the answer will get better and better and better if you focus on these questions. How will you deliver results? Okay. And finally, most importantly, why will these clients want to work with you again and again and refer others like them to you? Why will they come back to you the next time? A lot of lawyers are there. They're able to get the first client for one time, but after the client works with them once, next time they'll never come back. Okay. And that is a harsh reality for a lot of lawyers. I speak to a lot of my students regularly about them, people who are struggling to build their practice. Usually this is the reason. Okay. They don't have any answer to this question. Why should clients come back? Why would they refer more people? They're not able to answer this. In today's webinar, we'll discuss all these questions, right? How can you do all these things with a focus on tech law work, right? How to build this in the technology law domain. Although you can apply it anywhere really, but technology law is an exciting area of work, very fast growing area of work. There's a lot of opportunities here. So you're going to talk about technology law specifically, right? But yeah, you can take these, as you can see, and apply anywhere, no matter which practice you are building. But we are going to talk about some more questions which are very important. For example, we're going to talk about what work can be called lowest hanging fruit. What is low hanging fruit? Like there are different things. So some things are just harder to succeed at, and there are some things which are much easier to succeed, in. So you can succeed at those things much more easily. So low hanging fruits are there. So what work can we deem low hanging fruit in technology law work domain? Then who are the potential clients if you want to do tech law work? We'll discuss that as well, right? Then what kind of work is available in tech law domain that independent lawyers can target? So of course there is certain work that that only big law firms will get. For independent small law firms, it's very hard to get, maybe impossible in some cases. Just to give you an example, no matter how good a lawyer you are, if you are an independent lawyer, if you're a small law firm, can you do IPO of a company? No, you can't do IPO. To do IPO, you need a large team size. Okay. So only large law firms do it. Very large law firms with a large team tend to do IPO work. Why? Because you need a large team. You cannot do this with a small team. If you are doing a due diligence in a merger and acquisition, Can you do it with one lawyer? No, 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 not possible. Very stupid idea. You can't do it. It doesn't make sense. Also, you need a larger law firm to do these things. Okay. So it's not like you can do anything and everything. If you're an independent lawyer, I'm assuming you'll have a small team or you'll be a single solo lawyer initially. So there is certain kind of work that you can do. And you have to be careful about the kind of work you take on. So we're going to talk about that. What kind of work has high demand and low supply in terms of legal services, right? What kind of, you have to realize that everything in the market is, we live in a capitalistic society, right? So the market is driven by demand and supply. Okay. So for certain things, there are high demand, but also high supply. Okay. Generally, if the demand is high, over time, supply also becomes high. But there are some things for which there is very low demand and supply is high. That is like even terrible. You should never do such work where demand is low and supply is high. I can give you an example. All this local district court criminal law matter. For this, all lawyers say we can do this. Everyone wants to do this. In local, even go to a local court, you'll see very high supply of lawyers there. But demand is not that much. Okay. There is not so many, there are more lawyers than the work is there. So you don't want to do such things, right? Because if you do such things, then it's very hard to find work. You will get paid low amounts and so on. So if you want to do something in which there is high demand and low supply, and in the technology law domain, thankfully, there are a lot of such work in which there is a lot of high demand, but supply is low. Why? Because lawyers are not fully educated about how the technology sector is growing, what kind of work is coming up, what kind of opportunities are opening up. Tax law work, for example, it is also like this. You must be knowing that if you look around, if you just ask here, there are many people who have logged in here. How many of you are willing to do tax law related work? Can you tell me how many of you, most people are afraid of doing tax law work? Yes or no? Am I saying the wrong thing? Yeah, people are afraid of doing tax law work. So what does that mean? That means that there is demand for tax law work is going up and up and up, because there is GST and there is income tax and there is more businesses are becoming formal over time, right? So all of these people have a high demand. They're generating high demand together for legal work. Yes. But what is happening is tax law, there are not that many lawyers who are willing to do tax law work. So that means if you are looking for tax lawyers, it is harder to find, and clients are becoming willing to pay more. There are only few lawyers, they can only handle so much work, right? So they are charging more. And because other lawyers are not willing to do tax law work, then the demand, basically high demand and low supply situation. The same thing is with tech law also, right? Because lawyers are not much, they don't even know much about what kind of work is happening in technology, what is the challenges that technology entrepreneurs are facing, what are the legal issues there. They have no clue, right? And because of this, there are very few lawyers. Actually, if a startup guy or a tech guy goes to a lawyer and says that, I want to do, can you help me with this kind of a contract? Everyone will say, yes, I'll do it. But they actually don't know how to do the work. They will mess it up, and, the client will be very unhappy. So this is the situation in a vast number of things that are happening in the domain, that there is high demand for such work, but the supply is very low. Okay. So where are the gaps in the market? Okay. So we need to study where are the gaps in the market, that there is a lot of gap in such markets where we can tap into it, right? So if you want to build a tech law practice, you want to tap into those gaps. That is your best bet. Yes. Okay, so we'll also look at what are the different kind of clients that are there in the market. Okay, this will help you to plan your practice better. That who are the clients who are my most potential good clients that I can approach, right? Remember that technology itself is not an industry anymore. Okay, it's not like I want to do technology law. Technology is like technology is a misnomer. Okay, it's not an industry. Within technology, there are massive industries. Okay, massive industries. What are some of these industries? Okay, for example, consumer internet. Do you know what is consumer internet companies? Can you give me one or two examples? Consumer internet, e-commerce, digital media, blockchain, fintech, software as a service, SaaS, right? Biotech, IoT, agri-tech, and dozens of other massive industries worth billions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of billions of dollars exist, right? Most of them misunderstood, underappreciated, and underserved by lawyers. Okay. So example of consumer internet company, Times Internet, Hathaway, ACT, consumer internet. No, consumer internet company is not literally internet connection, ISP. It's not that. Google is a consumer internet company. Facebook is a consumer internet company. TikTok is a consumer internet company, right? I can think of many other examples, but consumer internet is basically consumer facing internet company, right? Which is directly used by a consumer, as opposed to a B2B or software as a service company. Consumer internet is a software or an internet service which is consumed by the common people. Netflix is a consumer internet company, although it's a digital media company also, but it is a consumer internet company also. Okay, so consumer internet is an important thing to know about. But what I'm saying, focus on this, that these are Flipkart, Amazon are consumer internet companies. So most of them are misunderstood, underappreciated, and underserved by the lawyers, especially in India. Maybe not so much in US, but in India, their lawyers haven't really focused. They have not understood. There are very few law firms which cater to these kind of companies. Okay, so who are the clients? One example is big tech companies. What are the example of big tech companies in the US? For example, big tech company, big US, EU, and around the world actually, they're called FANG, right? FANG is Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. Okay, FAANG, FANG, big tech companies around. These are the 6 very big, tech companies around the world. Okay, really massive. So, I mean, they are doing hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. Okay, biggest companies in the world today. So big tech companies, they also hire lawyers, but they hire few lawyers. More lawyers, interestingly, hired by a lot of apart from big tech companies, there are a lot of tech startups which have grown big and successful. Many of them have reached billions of dollars in revenue, unicorns and so on, right? In India only there are hundreds of unicorns already. I think almost 100 unicorn or something. In China there are hundreds, and India will also have hundreds of tech unicorns in the years to come. But there are also small startups, lot of SMEs, like small businesses which are tech-driven tech companies basically. Then there are tech vendors and services companies, right? So there are, in technology, there are 2 kinds of companies in India, especially for the last 20 years. We called the product companies and there are services companies. Do you understand the difference between a product company and a service company? Can you explain in the chat, anyone? What is the difference between a product company and a services company? Can you guys hear me clearly? If you can hear me clearly, write yes in the chat. Adobe is a product company, but what is a services company? Give me example of service companies. Hardware and software companies? No, that is not the point. It's not hardware and software. Within software also, there can be product companies and then can be services companies. BCG is service. Services is Infosys. Very good. Infosys is a service company. They don't sell any products. They provide services to other companies, right? Not even SaaS. Services companies are basically, they are like, you can say, they are basically providing technology services to other companies. They are building technology for other companies. BPO, not necessarily BPO, but they are building technology for other technology companies or other companies for that matter, companies, governments, organizations, they are building technology, they are giving, they're a service company, they give service. No, 𝗏𝗏 is not also a service company. So basically, technology services companies provide technology as a service. Okay, you, for example, Government of India want to build GST network. Infosys built the GST network, right? You know that. Similarly, let's say some other government or some other company says that, okay, you know what? We have all these files. We want to make all these files into a online digital system. So Infosys will provide a service to do that. Okay. So that's a service company, which is providing services to other companies or other governments. Now, they are not building products. They are not selling their own product in the market. On the contrary, product companies are selling their own product in the market, right? To consumers, to businesses. They are building their own product. So the difference between a service and a product is that when you are a service company, the client tells you that I want X, Y, Z, this way, that way. I want bells and whistles. I want you to, this is what I want. So in a service company, you are going and asking the client, okay, what do you want us to build? Tell us and we'll build it. Okay. A product company is saying that, look, this is the product we have. Okay. Will you buy it or not? I want you to buy this product. So I am not going to change the product as per what the client tells me. This is my product. You buy this, right? That's it. The customization is limited, if at all. Okay. But in a services company, everything is customized. We will build everything for you. Think of a tailor, right? So a tailor is saying that I will build a shirt as per your specification and your measurement. I will, create your dress or clothes or whatever according to your requirement as per your measurement. That is services. Okay. But a product is like, I have these shirts. There is size A, size B, size 40, size 41, size 42. You take the ones that fit you. We are not going to make anything for you. It is there, whatever fits you, you take it. You see the difference, right? Do you understand the difference, guys? Yeah. Now you get the difference between services company and product company. Okay. So there are tech vendors and services companies. This is also a major, one type of very large number of tech companies in the world which needs legal services, right? So these are the three types of overall things. Now I'm going to tell you some different specific industries which have a huge need for lawyers. Okay. E-commerce companies. This is one example. You guys know what is the e-commerce company. Do you know how many e-commerce companies are there in the world? I'll give you like 1 minute to think about it. But you realize after the pandemic, e-commerce has become even bigger. Businesses which were offline have been forced to go online. Must be thousands and crores. My friend, in thousands and crores, there is too much of a difference. Make up your mind. How many? Thousands or crores? Millions. How many millions? Okay. I am giving you this exercise. Just go and Google how many e-commerce stores or e-commerce companies are there in the world. Google. Yeah. Try. Google this. Okay, I'll take so many on Instagram itself, right? So every time you log into Instagram, you find a lot of them. People selling, though they are all e-commerce players. Of course, there are large e-commerce companies like Flipkart, Amazon. Yeah, I don't know what else. Billions cannot be. There are only 6 billion or 7 billion people in the world. 24 million. And how many are there in India? How many e-commerce companies are there in India? So I'll give you a very simple statistics which you like. Do you guys know of Shopify? Shopify allows people to build their it's a software as a service, SaaS company, right? So Shopify allows you to build a e-commerce shop very quickly, right? And not everyone is using it. It's like a lot of e-commerce players who are not using Shopify, but Shopify is there. And Shopify has more than 1 million clients around the world. 1 million shops that are working online, Shopify, right? 1 million. That's a huge number. Okay. And there are many, many, many more. And how many are there in India? How many e-commerce players are there in India? Every day new e-commerce companies are coming up, 19,000. And every day new e-commerce companies are coming up in different domains. Okay. And all of these are your potential clients, by the way. Digital media. Digital media is also a huge space today. Can you give me examples of digital media? Today, every media has gone digital. All the traditional media has also gone digital. But there are digital media companies which are just digital, right? Entirely digital, and they have started digital. Can you give me examples of top digital media companies in the world and top digital media companies in India? Netflix, Hotstar, okay. Try more. Anything else? YouTube, but leave aside those video platforms. Anything else? Okay, Facebook also, sure. Try more. In India, think about digital media companies in India. Indian digital media companies. Because if I say US, you will keep saying Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, WhatsApp. No. Just think in India also. What are the biggest digital media companies in India? Okay, quickly tell me. Google this if you have to, but see this. Twitter is not Indian. Sony, Z, no. These are like large corporations. I mean, they have their digital media arms. But tell me native digital media companies, people who things which are only digital. 𝗵𝗡𝗃𝗃, 𝗵𝗃𝗀. Okay, good. 𝗵𝗡𝗃𝗃 is actually Times Internet company. They were bought out by Times Internet. So that's good. 𝗵𝗃𝗀, sure. HBO in Indian company. Myntra is not digital media. It's an e-commerce company. Ajio, I don't know. I've never heard. Old Balaji digital media company, sure. But again, it's like Balaji Telephone. It's like, think of Scoop Hoop. Very good. Abhishek, TVF, right? Abhishek Bansiwal has said. These are some of the digital media companies. Any other ones? Republic TV. Okay. It's still not purely digital. It's a television company. Filter Copy. Very good. Filter Copy. Digital media company. Print. The Print. Very good. Anything else? Scoop Hoop, yeah, someone said. Anything else? News Laundry, sure. More. The Wire, okay, digital media company. The Cane app, do you guys know the Cane? It's a subscription, Insta Read maybe, yeah. There's First Post, no, not First Post. What is short, News in Shorts. News in Shorts. Yeah, in Shorts, right. Good, super. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, sure, good going, guys. So these are all digital media companies in India. Squint, right? So very good. So there are a lot of these are digital media companies, and I mean, you can see, and there are more and more coming up every day, every year, like a lot of new digital media coming up. Not the KEN. Okay. So these are different digital media companies, and digital media is a massively growing sector. Okay. What else are there? Emerging tech and deep tech companies. Do you know what is deep tech? Emerging tech, you can understand new, emerging, exciting technology which is going to change the world, right? For example, blockchain, right? Artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and there's so many different technologies. Synthetic meat, right? There is this whole new industry coming up where they are going to serve, alternative meat, which is grown in laboratory without killing animals. And a lot of people will be buying this. Even I will be buying this for my protein needs and not rely on, killing animals. So this is an example. So there are emerging tech and deep tech companies, right? So very good. Can you give me examples of emerging tech and deep tech companies? Anyone? Give me at least 5-10 examples in the chat quickly. Tell me. Emerging tech and deep tech companies. Example. Google if needed. What is deep tech? Somebody explain what is deep tech. I'm taking a break for just a minute, guys. Sorry. Autonomous vehicles, iCar, driverless cars, Tesla. Good example of, very good example of this is Tesla. Right? So Tesla is a deep tech company. SpaceX is a deep tech company. Okay, HTML is a language. What is this? Hyperloop, right? Very good. So there are emerging tech and deep tech companies. Then consumer internet. Consumer internet, I explained to you guys, which is internet companies which are consumer facing. All email companies are consumer internet. For example, all the social media companies are consumer internet. Anything that people generally download and use, are for free. Those are all mostly consumer internet companies. Whether free or it can be paid also. Okay. Now somebody said Zoho. So example of Zoho is a SaaS company, B2B SaaS company, software as a service. So just like there are consumer facing internet companies, consumer tech companies, consumer internet companies, there are companies which are in the B2B. So they are not serving, they are really large companies, very billion-dollar, huge companies, but they are not serving the common people. They are serving other companies, right? They're not serving consumers, they're serving businesses. So B2B and software as a service is a huge sector right now. Okay. So can you think of some names in India of B2B and SaaS companies? GoDaddy is an example, sure. Any other examples you can think of? B2B and SaaS companies. There's a company in India called Freshworks. Apart from Zoho, both of them are in the exact same business, but both of them are very large billion-dollar companies. Any other company you can think of? Uber, Ola, these are all consumer internet companies. Amazon, Wix, Canva, right? Swiggy is consumer internet. Freshdesk, yes, Freshdesk is a Freshworks, same group company, right? So these are all B2B companies. Byju's is consumer. Okay. Do they serve a business? No. Fintech is a huge domain, which is a breakout, massive growth happening right now, massive investment, massive growth happening. Can you give me examples of fintech companies? Fintech companies can be consumer, can be B2B, both. Cred is an example, Paytm is an example, Razorpay, very good. Any other examples you can think of? Right? Alibaba is an e-commerce company primarily, but they are into everything, right? Bheem is a fintech app, correct? PhonePe is one of the biggest. Grow, 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 Zerodha, right? These are all fintech companies. Very good. Okay. Logistics and transportation tech. So this is also very big in India right now. And Delivery is an example of logistics companies, tech-driven logistics company, which has raised a lot of money, growing very fast. Any other companies you guys? eCart, right? I don't know, Bizongo. Uber and Ola is transportation tech, right? There is like services like Uber for trucks and all these things also. I don't remember the names of those companies, but sure. So logistics and transportation tech is a big area of growth. EdTech has been one of the biggest growth areas during the right now it's growing like anything. Byju's, Unacademy, and I don't know, Vedantu, 𝗏𝗏, sure, we are also an EdTech company. So there are massive growth in EdTech happening right now as people move away from, people realize the power of education technology and how it can make a big difference, right? OYO is a consumer internet company, right? I missed out a couple of things: data science, applications, and AI, right? Data sciences and all, this is very closely connected. AI is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence cannot be created without data. So data and AI is very closely connected. And there are companies which are doing great work, making a lot of money, growing really fast out of these things also. And many companies are using data science and AI, no matter what they're doing within that. Maybe within EdTech, maybe within whatever technology it may be, they're using data science and AI, trying to use at least. Clean energy, production and storage, both huge business. Okay, so this is also a huge area of work for lawyers. Can you think, for technology lawyers, can you think of some clean energy companies, clean energy technology companies? There's a lot more cyber security and whatnot. I'm not going into all of that. Prashant Kishore uses AI and data science, right? Okay, cloud computing and data centers. Yeah, this is also a huge, fast growing area. In India, we'll see a lot of clean energy happening going forward, simply because solar is going, in India has a lot of solar energy, like potential for generating solar energy. And the price of solar energy per unit has fallen much farther, 10 times cheaper than energy, electricity generated from coal, right? Coal was the cheapest electricity till now, but that is changing. Tata is with new line of EV, right, electricity vehicles. And then there's this whole Tesla just entered India, and there's this whole challenge of batteries. There will be next generation batteries coming up. We are using gadgets more than ever, right? So how do you store energy in an efficient way? How can you recharge those batteries easily? How can you store electricity in larger capacity for longer time? So there's a lot of things going on in these. Similarly, cloud computing and data centers. In India, data business will grow a lot because government has a clear focus on data sovereignty. That is, the Indian data should be in India. It should not be stored somewhere else. And it is highly possible that India will be seeing a birth of its data centers. And cloud computing is right now in the hands of the big tech companies, Amazon, Google, Facebook. But we might see this growing big in India, and Indian companies also coming up in this, especially for local data. So these are the large tech players today, and you need not focus on large players at all. So if you want to look for large players, the sectors I described, a lot of those companies are spread across these sectors, right? So these are the large tech players today, and you need not focus on large players at all. Why is that? Because there are a lot of smaller industries that are going to grow very fast in the future, and you can see all the promises, right? Massive promises. And for instance, drones, virtual reality, telemedicine, space technology, all of these things are growing really fast in India. It is always a great idea to super specialize within a small domain and an emerging new domain. Because if there's a domain which is already there for a long time, it might be that there are established lawyers there, right? So I'm just giving you an example. If you want to be a successful criminal lawyer, it is very hard to become the best criminal lawyer. You know why? Because there are so many lawyers practicing for so many years in criminal law. For you to get the work and make a name and do a better job than them, it's going to be really hard, right? It's going to be very hard to earn a reputation, right? But it is a great idea to super specialize within a small domain. So for example, in drone technology, or there is so much work in drone right now. There are so many drones being imported into India. It is a highly regulated thing. Who's the best drone lawyer? Nobody knows, right? Nobody specializing in something like that. So you can become the authority on drone regulations in India. It is possible. Nobody is the authority today on drone technologies or regulation of drone technology. Who's the authority in India for regulation of space technology, right? Nobody is working on it. Nobody's writing articles. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody's doing webinars about it. Nobody's doing anything. But you can become, potentially, when you take a small domain and super specialize within it, it is very lucrative and rewarding to be a well-known expert in a small domain, rather than doing different work with lots of different domains, right? What is the tendency when somebody is starting a new thing, new practice? Lawyers think that if I am an expert in, I'm an expert in this also, that also, and everything. If I present myself like this, then more people will work with me. Is this true? I'll ask you something. Okay, if you have a problem with the skin, do you prefer to go to a general doctor or to a doctor who's a specialist in skin? If you have a problem in your brain or your, I don't know, your I mean, you can see how many specialized doctors are there. People go to general doctors, or do they prefer to go to specialized, highly specialized doctors? What happens? In reality, what happens? I am not saying whether it is good or bad. By the way, I don't think it is so good. Okay. Now, what happens with lawyers? Exact same thing happens. So if I imagine that, I'm giving an example, right? So let's say I have to negotiate a power purchase agreement. It's a, power purchase agreement. There are these it's electricity law, and like there are, do you guys know what is the power purchasing agreement? PPS, yeah. Do you know who enters into such agreements? Tell me. Anybody knows? Anybody here knows who enters into PPS? Discoms, sure. Distribution companies and state governments, right? So now imagine that there is a power purchasing agreement and this is to be negotiated. Will you hire, I don't know, like the most famous constitutional lawyer in India? Will you go and hire 𝗕𝗫𝗀𝗏 for doing that? Chances are low, right? You won't do that. You don't go to just a famous lawyer, the most famous lawyer in India. No. You look for experts who have negotiated many PPS. Yes or no? Will you look for someone who's specialized within the electricity law domain, or will you go and look for the most famous lawyer out there? Correct? So if you have a startup, imagine you have a startup and you are raising money, right? You are raising money and you need a shareholder agreement negotiated and drafted, right? So who will you go to? What kind of lawyer will you look for? Somebody who specializes in that, who has preferably negotiated many such contracts for many startups, basically does this all the time, drinks, eats, breathes negotiation of shareholder agreements, preferably someone like that, or like a general lawyer who does everything, does litigation also, everything. Who will you prefer? Okay, so this is what happens. So when even you will look for a lawyer, you will want to look for lawyers who are highly specialized, have that exact knowledge and skill. Correct? Most beginners are afraid to specialize. How many of you think that if I specialize, then it will be a problem? Do you think like this? Now that I have said so much against that, you may not say so anymore. But most people think like this, that if I do this and that, they don't say no to anything that comes to them, right? They are like, no, I'll do everything. I'm not saying you no to some work that comes. You can still do it. If you are a youngster and somebody has come to you to give you some work, I'm not saying say no to people, but focus on one thing. Build your credibility, your name in one area rather than everything. And by the way, this is advice for the first 10 years. After first 10 years, when you already have built a sizable practice, you want to add new practice areas, and then you don't want to remain super specialized. Then more value may come from adding more specializations, one after another. Okay, later on, maybe later on, but initially it is a very bad idea, because if you say I do this also, that also, then you're not specialized in anything, and your weapon against a more senior person or more established lawyer is that, okay, he may be a technology lawyer, but is he a specialized lawyer in this kind of technology? I specialize only in this, and clients will hire you because of that. Okay, because you are more specialized, people will prefer to hire you. But most beginners are afraid to specialize. They think that it is an advantage for finding work if they are doing many different things. They say, if I specialize too much, how will I get work? Yet is it not the case that we prefer to hire specialists, right? We prefer, most of us ourselves prefer specialists. There are many advantages that a specialist will have, especially as a lawyer. I'll give you an example. So imagine that I am day and night, I am negotiating power purchasing agreements, right? So I am negotiating many of them. So I know all the players. I know how they negotiate. I know their terms and conditions and what is the difference. And so I have a lot of insider knowledge and I have a lot of spatial knowledge. Now imagine that you are just negotiating 3. I am negotiating 50 power purchasing agreement in the whole year. You are negotiating only 3. How much specialized knowledge do you have compared to me? You don't have, right? Yes, no, maybe. Imagine, so somebody who's just doing 1 power purchasing agreement doesn't know anything compared to how much specialized knowledge I have. So this is why there are many advantages of being a specialist. And it translates into an ability to charge premium rates for clients in a narrow domain of work. Imagine you explain to your client that, look, I have negotiated, this is what I do, I eat, drink, breathe. You can find another lawyer, but the lawyers who are charging you less, they are not as conversant in this as I am. This is what I do all day long. So if your lawyer comes up against me, then there's no chance he'll win. And your client will be convinced, because it is actually a lot of business sense. So people will be willing to pay you a higher premium when you're specialized. Also, earning a reputation for a certain kind of work is much quicker when focused on a narrow domain, right? So it's a great idea to specialize. Those who focus on a specialty, okay, tend to build their practices much faster as compared to people who try to generalize. And a lot of people in the market try to generalize. You think that it's an obvious thing. How many of you are thinking it is obvious that you should specialize? How many of you think it is obvious that you should specialize? Write yes or no in the chat. Do you think it is obvious? Write obvious in the chat. Okay. For most people, it is obvious that they should be a general lawyer, should not specialize. Okay, it's crazy. They think if I be a general lawyer, I'll get more work. That is absolutely not true. That is like crazy. I mean, it is counterintuitive in many ways, but people don't get it. Okay. So I'll be glad if you guys get this just one thing in your head today, that specializing is better for your career growth. Yeah, most senior lawyer in Zambia discourage specializing. In Kenslick Mulolo is saying, he's from Zambia. In India also, most senior lawyers discourage specializing. And if you don't specialize, it is to their advantage. Okay, so it is good for them, but not good for you. If you specialize, you will get better work. You will get more paid more. Everything will happen. Because in that domain, you are the king. In the small domain, you are the best. You can become the best in a small domain. To become a best in a large domain with lots of lawyers, it's much harder. Right? And senior lawyers will prefer that there is not so much specialization. Then they can take up all work. But they cannot do it if there are specializations. There are specialized lawyers in every domain. So the way to beat seniors is to specialize. Otherwise, you have no chance against the seniors. If everybody is generalized, then senior has more experience and they are better than you. Right? Do you see the disparity? Do you understand why seniors don't want you to specialize? And the myth is that if you specialize, then you'll become a bad lawyer. No, you'll become a better lawyer in that domain. You don't know about other law, it's okay. Right? But there is a time when you stop specializing like this and try to add more areas. Right? But that is not initially, because initially if you try to do it, you'll never be able to build a practice. Then your seniors will also tell you that before you start your own practice, you should at least work under me for 10 years. That also they must be saying. Ken Slick, do they say that? That you must work under us for 10 years, 20 years before you start your own practice? Yeah. There you go. Okay. What to do about the interconnectivity of various laws? So interconnectivity you will be able to learn. So you are not an idiot. Just because you are specializing, not that you are an idiot, you cannot learn any other law, right? So within that domain, whatever problems, there is a finite number of problems that usually come up. At least 80-90% of the time, same work will come, and 10% of the time, something new will come. You can always go and learn that 10% extra unique things, right? When it comes up. And you can also consult. Actually, you can even pay some other lawyer who is expert on that to learn that, or you can just learn it yourself. There is no problem. As a lawyer, you have to keep learning with every matter. But you will be much more successful when you're working in the small domain. Okay. Hi, Vismita. So, okay. So what we need to do if we want to succeed as a lawyer, right? We have to think which of these clients are least understood and not well served. If we can find problems in the market which are not already solved by the existing lawyers, and trust me, there are a lot of such problems that people are facing and lawyers are not solving. So the challenge is which of these clients are least understood and not well served. Can you give me an example of something that you have seen, something you have noticed in your life, that there are certain clients, they want a certain service, but they are not getting it? I'll give you an example right now. Okay. Phishing, you know, 𝗶𝗵𝗃, phishing, like 𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗀 scams, you know what that is, phishing scams, right? Yeah. Cybercrime. Okay. Right. So people are getting defrauded, they are giving their OTP and somebody is stealing their money. All the time happening, right? Hundreds and thousands of cases. You have seen this happening all around you? Yes, no? Okay. Okay. So how many of you think that this problem is well solved? If it happens to you, can you go to a lawyer, pay a reasonable amount of money, say, you know, you have, say somebody has stolen 50,000 rupees from you in this manner, can you go pay 10,000 rupees to a lawyer and get a solution? Yes, no, maybe. Do you know which lawyer to go to? Do you think lawyers will solve it? It's not well solved, right? Huge problem. People don't know what to do, how to do. And that is why there is so much phishing attack out there in the world. Another example. Let's say a girl is getting stalked on social media. She is facing some stalking from someone. Or maybe why a girl? Maybe a man also is facing, these days a lot of men are facing, sextortion, right? Online extortion. Okay. So what happens is that somebody will invite them for a sex video chat or something like that, record their video, and then they'll threaten them that we'll release this video, and if you don't pay us, and they'll keep taking money from the guy, and they will send it to their friends, relatives, threatening. There's a very common problem. There are a lot of gangs around India who are doing this, sextortion rackets. Now, can you give them a solution and charge money for it? Right? Do you think it's a problem well solved? No, it's not. Okay. Very difficult to find such niche lawyers. But do you think people are ready to pay money for these things? Yeah, people are ready to pay. So, I mean, I just gave you 2 examples. This is not everything, right? There are a lot of other businesses also have a lot of problems. A lot of businesses have these today. It is so easy that if you are not happy with a service, or even a competitor will go and write really bad things about a business. I can go and write, I have one example. Once one of our students, 𝗨𝗏 student, okay, so one day a class got cancelled. Okay, so class got cancelled and rescheduled, and she got angry that why is the class cancelled, because when it is rescheduled I cannot attend. So she went and wrote on LinkedIn that 𝗨𝗏's basic processes are not there, it's a horrible company, blah blah blah, and it's defamatory. In my opinion, it is a defamatory statement. Right now, this is not only faced by 𝗨𝗏, this is faced by every damn company in this country. Right? So if you can just go and write a horrible, there was a time I used to run a restaurant in Goa, a small restaurant, and somebody came and tried to park a car outside our restaurant, and there was no parking, so he was not able to park, and he got a fine from the police. Okay, and he was not even a customer. So he wrote a review in Google saying that this is a very bad restaurant, and put the parking ticket also, that fine that police charged, that also he posted as a photo that I tried to park here, so, and gave a bad review. Right? So that kind of crazy things are happening, and it actually matters what reviews you have, what star ratings you have, all of that. Now imagine how much work is there for lawyers in this domain, but is there a solution available to businesses for this? Yes, no, maybe. Do you think businesses have an easy solution? No, but how difficult is it? You just have to send a notice, maybe file a case against Google and that person. It will go away in, like, if legal process is done, all these things can be really sorted out really quickly. Okay, copyright violation. So many times people will take our content from YouTube or something, some blog, and just, put it up there. We have to send DMC and notices to take them down. Yeah. Is there an easy solution? No. Right? So there's a huge problems, trademark violations, all kind of things are there. So big companies have their legal service providers figured out. Most of the big companies have figured this out, how to do, what to do, right? Big tech companies, they have a lot of lawyers, they have a legal team, right? It is possible to, although even with big companies, there are certain gaps where they are finding it challenging or hard to solve these things, especially when there are local cases in, imagine, e-commerce companies. For them, consumer case is a huge problem. So they get the consumer cases are filed against them all over the country. In every district, there may be a consumer case being filed against them. How do they fight all these cases, right? So this is definitely a pain point for e-commerce companies. Okay, this is an example of large e-commerce companies are also struggling with this. Yet, as they have large resources and maturity in their legal teams, they may have solved most of their problems. Okay, this is but on the other hand, smaller startups, okay, early seed stage companies, okay, bootstrapped companies, series A level startups, they are likely to have massive debts from an operational and legal point of view. And that happens because they're growing fast, but they're not paying attention to their legal needs, right? Have you ever come across startups? They're growing fast, they're having a revenue of 1 crore, 2 crore, 5 crore, 10 crores a year, and yet they don't have a lawyer, right? They are trying to figure it out without a lawyer. Do you know such companies? By the way, even in 𝗏𝗏, because we have so many lawyers in the company, we don't have a dedicated lawyer. Yeah, we don't have a general counsel or a legal head or anybody, right? We have, we ourselves handle it when it happens, when we need some legal things. But at some point, we'll have to go and hire a lawyer who's like dedicatedly doing legal work, right? Okay. So we haven't hired yet, but at some point we'll have to. But even that is in 𝗏𝗏, which is a legal company. We have so many lawyers in the company. But what about other companies? Do you think small startups, 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, 50 people, do you think they all have in-house lawyers? Yes, no, maybe. Have you seen? Have you noticed? Most of them don't, right? Because they are like, oh, baad mein dekhenge, right? Baad mein dekhenge, but that they are having huge problems. They don't have contracts, they don't have their compliances a problem. And sometimes the problems start manifesting, start giving them enough trouble, then they will go and hire a legal team. But before that, they are still hiring lawyers, right? This is a wonderful opportunity for new entrants in the market. So if you are looking to get into the tech law practice, or even law practice for that matter, right? This is a wonderful opportunity. Can you tell me why? Why do you think it's a great opportunity for you? Such small startups which are growing, but yet they have legal debt. They don't have lawyers with them yet. Why is it a wonderful opportunity? I gave you the answer a little bit earlier. Because these companies are not well understood, they are underserved, their problems, they don't have lawyers paying them attention at all. It's an empty market, low demand, low supply, high demand. They even sometimes don't know that they themselves need. Correct? And this is the time when they maybe not be able to pay much initially, but they are growing. They are going to be able to pay a lot. Can you build trust? Can you build relationships at this stage? Right? And also you'll be able to get work from them that matters, so that you can prove your mettle and create a track record. Law students are able to get work from startups. Forget lawyers, law students. Startups are so desperate, they're ready to even law students draft their contracts, because otherwise they are copy pasting from the internet. So they're like, okay, this guy is saying he's a law student, knows how to draft contract, let him only draft it. Do you realize? Okay, what is the situation? So they are happy to get to work with any lawyers at all. Problem is that they have very low budgets, small budgets. Okay, but it is a great opportunity for you to do work that matters, to prove metal and to build a track record, and also build relationships with these companies, because these will grow. If they don't grow, if they shut down, it's okay, because the founders will go and work in some other big company and they will bring you into those companies also. So I highly recommend small startups that do not have a legal team yet. Right? Startups with legal teams will not have much contracts, compliance, or regulatory work to provide. So if it is a startup which has already hired a legal team, then they will not have much contracts, compliance, or regulatory work to provide, because they're expecting their in-house counsel to do all these things. But they still will have disputes in which they will need help from external lawyers. Okay? Remember this. So you are trying to get to startups. The best potential clients are startups which doesn't have a legal team yet. And there are a lot of such startups. Most of them don't have legal teams. They are going to eventually hire. But before that, you want to capture such clients. For those looking to set up a non-disputes practice, it is better to focus on startups that do not have a legal team yet. Do you understand? So those who are looking to set up a non-disputes practice, it is better to focus on startups that do not have a legal team. This is very easy to figure out on LinkedIn. How will you know whether a startup has legal team or not? What will you do in LinkedIn? Can someone tell me? I'll just show you on screen right now. Okay. So let's say I'm looking for space tech companies in India. Okay, so I can see these are the Space National Startup Awards. Wow. So I have got all the top companies here in one place. Right? So Skyroot Aerospace. Let's see in LinkedIn. Very nice name, Skyroot. Right? Here is the company. Yeah, so they have raised funding of 2.4 millions. They have 30 employees. Okay, so you can see the CEO, all these people. Is there any lawyer here? I don't see. HR officer, director of. Probably they don't have any lawyer in their team. But this is a very good company. You want them to have them as your client, because they have raised 2.4 million. That is serious money also. I think that is around 20 crores. Right? But they don't have a lawyer, all engineers. Right? So do you think these guys will need a lawyer? Yes, no, maybe. �ଧ୍रुવspace. Let's see. These are companies which have revenue. Maybe they don't have revenue, but they have. These are deep tech companies, clearly. Right. Even here you can see they don't have any lawyers. So these are potential clients. So you can figure out in this manner. And what is best, for technology law work, you don't have to restrict yourself to Indian companies at all. Right? You can basically do it with any company in the world. You can even apply to other small startups in US, or you can reach out to them, build network with them, and so on. Okay, this is very easy to figure out. So these are the companies you want to work with. Else you can simply call and ask them, can you please, this is another thing that really works for many of my students. You can simply call them and ask, can you please connect me with your legal team? If they do not have one, they will tell you. So, and they redirect you to their CFO or CEO or a finance person or somebody in the team, right? Somebody, I mean, they'll send you to the closest person if you call their number. What kind of work do you need to be able to do if you're a tech lawyer, right? So this is okay. So you saw your potential clients. Now, what kind of work do you have to do for these kind of clients? Contracts. This is a major area of work. So imagine all these space tech companies that we saw. Few of them are there. So do you think they need contracts day in and day out? Yes, no, maybe. What do you guys think? Yeah, they need, right? And some of these are technology related contracts. Then they'll have compliance requirements. They are a company, they need to comply to all the laws, right? So they have compliance requirements. Disputes and litigation. So some of them might have some disputes. The contracts may run into disputes. They might have disputes with shareholders, investors, vendors, all kinds of disputes, consumer, right? Regulatory and policy advocacy, right? They also have, they need a regulatory interface. Many technology startups have a problem with regulation, right? Do you remember in Uber, for example, in India, their biggest team was legal team in India, legal and regulatory. They had a huge team working with governments, every state government, right? They need, so that they don't run into problems. They have good connection with the government and they're able to figure out how to operate so that regulations are not against them. They don't have any problems and so on. So regulatory and policy advocacy. I have done, one webinar on regulation of emerging tech, right? Why regulation of emerging tech is a very hot area of work for lawyers. And I've explained, you can definitely watch that on our YouTube channel later on. Data and privacy has become a huge area of work, right? It is within compliances, but I specifically mentioning it because it has become such a big area of technology lawyers to work on. So all of these companies, if they want to have clients in Europe, if they want to, for example, if they don't have clients in Europe, they want to do business with companies in Europe as a vendor or anything, they need to comply with GDPR. You know about GDPR, General Data Protection Rules. So suddenly they need to comply with the GDPR. Very soon, the personal data protection law is already in the parliament, will soon get passed and become the law. It is before, I think, a parliamentary committee, and soon it will become law. So then it will also become, in India, all companies will have to comply to the data protection law. So data and privacy has become a huge area of work. You can see the whole hoopla that just happened over WhatsApp, right? So there is big, so all for tech companies, data and privacy is a very critical thing. I have explained what work is there in previous webinars, so I'll not spend too much time on this. But this is the kind of work you have to do, right? I'll show you the kind of skills we teach in our technology law course. These are the kind of things you have to do if you were a tech lawyer. So I will quickly show you. 1 second, please. Right, I'll show you the actual work that you might get from clients in this area. So if you want to see the work in any domain, you can just go to any of our course and go to the weekly exercises and syllabus. You'll be able to see the actual work that happens. So So these are some of the things you need to learn. You have to learn strategic and drafting work in connection with cyber and technology laws, contract, fintech, e-commerce, how to handle technology contracts from negotiation to execution and enforcement, how to draft different kinds of technology contracts and advise technology companies on execution of software development and service level contracts, technology licenses, revenue models around open source licensing and other issues, right? Advise businesses, artists, sports federations, authors on unique contracts such as technology transfer, ebook publishing agreement, music licensing agreement, video game licensing agreements, etc. Learn how to structure e-commerce ventures, take MTI, execute end-to-end customer supply, logistics related documentation, perform end-to-end contract drafting work for subscription-based websites, how to perform advisory work around creation of privacy policies, terms and conditions, documentation regarding specific APIs developed by websites. API is another really interesting area of work, API documentation and legal issues around that. Then advise organizations on GDPR-based issues and drafting work, obtaining visitor consent, data leaks, privacy policies, compliance and audit work, right? So there are all these specific learning objectives are there. I'll show you the exercises we do, weekly exercises, right? Let's say this: draft a software evaluation agreement for a trial run by a company. Draft key terms of a software development agreement or website development agreement. Draft a software maintenance and support agreement. Master services agreement. Statement of work, change order, right? What else? There are a lot of stuff. I just want to highlight a few things, right? Non-disclosure agreement. Advise a bank and NBFC, this is fintech work, in implementation of relevant policies and systems for risk measurement in connection with outsourcing of financial services. Implement a system for storage and management of electronic contracts, right? Advise a client on taxation of international outsourcing, right? Where to file cyber complaint, drafting technology transfer agreement. So there's a lot of different things. Take down notice under DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, right? You can see, I mean, there's a whole lot of things. I'll share the link with you guys, so that you are familiar with, I mean, you can go through it yourself later on. Okay, so you can go through it. You can just Google technology law course, 𝗨𝗂, you'll easily find it, right? So you can go through this. Let's jump into the rest of the discussion for today. So how will you find your initial clients, right? This is very important. I'm sure many of you are waiting exactly for this, right? How to find your initial clients. Any ideas? Anyone can share any idea? How will you find your initial clients? Anyone? Nope. Nobody's saying anything. So, first of all, you have to think of it this way, that you need to be known for your expertise and skills in tech law. So before you can get clients even before that, but primary challenge is to all these people who are your potential clients, they should respect your expertise and skills in tech law. They should be able to see some validation that you have these skills and knowledge. Okay, very, very important. So few things you can do for this, and it should be like a daily practice that you develop, ideally. Every day you do some of this as a daily practice. This is the habits that you need to create. Writing articles and blogging on that specific area. So somebody said a while back, if I want to, build a practice around space tech, is it possible? Yes, it is possible, right? But you have to understand what are the challenges entrepreneurs are facing in that area, right? Cloud telephony. What are the problems that entrepreneurs and businessmen face in cloud telephony? What are the big legal challenges in the edtech domain, education technology? There's so many there are so many edtech companies today. There are hundreds of edtech companies and growing fast, and it will be a huge sector going forward. It will be a huge sector. Telemedicine will be a huge sector. Drones, huge sector. But do you know what are the problems that entrepreneurs are facing, startup founders are facing, executives in these technology companies are facing? Do you know that? Because you have to know that, and you have to write articles on that. You have to create content, and that you have to publish. Okay, because if you do so, then you are opening yourself up to be discovered. When people will face that problem, they'll Google, they'll look for answers on YouTube, on Google, and they'll discover what you have created. And if they find a solution through you, they will want further services. They will want to get in touch with you. Educative videos, very important. You create videos. So if you're focusing on, let's say, drone tech companies in India, start, what are the problems the people are facing? Can you educate them about some things? Maybe you can educate them on compliance. It doesn't have to be about space tech only. It can be general also. You can tell them about tax laws. You can teach them about compliances. You can teach them about GDPR. You can teach them about stuff that they want to know. So I am making educative videos for you guys because you are my potential clients, right? You are my if you benefit from the videos I make, the kind of free content we create, there's a high chance you'll realize that you want to work with us. Same thing for you. When you start creating such educative videos and people are coming, they start looking at you as an expert, there's high chance they benefit from your videos. They'll remember you and they'll come to you. They'll consider you an expert. So videos, creating blog posts, very important. Social media posts. So somebody said maybe we should post on LinkedIn. Yes, absolutely. Right? Twitter, LinkedIn. Your potential clients are on social media. Yes or no? All these founders of companies, potential clients, are they on social media or not? Yes, no, maybe. Are they already on social media? Yes, no, maybe. Yes, they are, right? So is it possible to reach out to them? Absolutely, right? So you can start, the idea is to have your ideal clients on your profile added. Don't add random people on your profile. Add your target people, right? Add them. And then regularly post content for them, right? Content that is beneficial for them, content that they like, that they will reshare, the content that they will benefit from. Once you regularly start posting that kind of content, your name will spread. People will come to know you and they will come to you when they have work, right? They need advice, they'll reach out to you on social media itself most of the time. So social media posts are very powerful way of connecting with your target audience and potential clients. Pro bono work for very early stage startups. I highly recommend this. Okay, I keep telling you, somebody comes and tells me that I want to build my practice, I'm not getting clients. You know what I tell them? I tell them that go talk to founders of 10 startups which are in early stage, very promising, very good teams, maybe got some early funding, angel funding, etc. Got angel funding at least reach out to them. They got a very small funding, angel funding, or maybe bootstrapped but growing strong. You can see the track record. Go to such startups and tell them, for 1 month I will work for you for free. I am doing this as a charity. Okay, no strings attached. You don't have to do anything in return for me. For free, I will do 1 month of work for you. And 1 month doesn't mean every day, 1 month, all the time I'll work. Maybe every week I'll spend 1 day working for you. Okay, 1 day, 6 hours, I'll dedicatedly work for you. And you can do it remotely. Now you don't even have to go meet them, right? And you just tell them I'm doing this. Or you can tell them that, look, there are many ways. I don't know, you have to approach with your strategy. But the idea is to give them a chance to see your work. Let them benefit from your work for free. It does not matter, because you know what? If they have seen the quality of your work, if they have benefited from that work that you have done in whatever that 1 month, 6 days, 4 days, whatever, right? The benefit that they have got from you, do you think next time when they're in trouble, when they need legal help, when they really need to get a contract properly done, do you think they'll go look for random lawyers, or they will go to the lawyer they already trust or they already know, have proven themselves? Who will they go to? Tell me, right? Will they not go to the person who they already trust, who have already come and do free work and proven? So what I say is that at least go to them, help them to draft at least 1 or 2 contracts that will be very critical for them, will be very beneficial for them, right? Help them to maybe find out all the gaps, find out that what compliances are important for them that they're not doing, what kind of problem can it create for them. Give them a checklist. that look, these are the things you need to do in your company that you're not doing, and you're going to get into this kind of problems later on, or in your next funding round you'll have problem if you don't do these things, your valuation can reduce and so on, right? So you can help very early stage startups, and if they are grateful to you, they will recommend you to other startup founders, other company owners. Do you know whose recommendation people trust? They don't trust a random recommendation, right? They trust recommendation of other people like them who have already benefited from you. They say, yes, this lawyer really helped me in this problem. People will trust that recommendation than anything else, any other recommendation. Yes, no, maybe. Do you agree with this? Yeah. Okay. You should be working for industry bodies and voluntary organizations, right? There was a time when I was working with such tech company, where I found my first client. I was a 4th-year law student. I went to an event called Startup Saturday. I just read about it on Facebook, and it was happening close by. So I went to attend it. I saw one guy speaking there in the event. Okay. So he finished talking, and he was building a data protection software. So he finished talking and he went out for a smoke. I followed him and I started talking to him, and I told him about the data protection rules of 2008 that had come out back then, and told him a lot of stuff. And he said, okay, very nice, keep in touch, give me his card, right? And he became my first client. So I realized that, wow, by coming to this event, if I can get a client, then I need to come to this event all the time, right? So I became a volunteer in that event. Okay, I said I will volunteer for this event, and all these events, everyone, they need people to come and volunteer and help. There was a time when in 𝗏𝗏 office in Delhi, we used to have these events on Saturdays. I don't know if anyone is here who has attended such an event. And we used to call very good lawyers to come and do a panel discussion every Saturday. And that time we did not do so many webinars, right? So we are doing panel discussions instead every Saturday, once a week, right? And we used to tell people come, and we used to charge people, I think, 100 rupees. And even for 100 rupees, used to feed them food only for 100 rupees. It's not like we're making any profit from any of this. But and some 20, 30, 40 people used to come and attend in our office these events. Okay. And there are people who volunteered, like law students who volunteered for these events. Okay. Now they have built so many connections by volunteer. All these. So imagine what did the volunteers do? They are looking after the guests. When the guest is arriving, coming to the station, they are escorted by these volunteers. So you get a chance to interact with them, and the smart ones out of them kept in touch with these people, added them on LinkedIn, got jobs, got recommendations, got internships, started their own YouTube channel, invited them to come and talk in the YouTube channel and whatnot, right? So volunteering is a very powerful. By volunteering, you get access. Okay. So Abhishek is asking how to find these startups. I showed you. I just went and Googled top space tech companies in India, top fintech companies in India, top legal tech companies in India. You can Google whatever. It is all there. There's Startup India website. Okay, startupindia.gov.in, I think, or startupindia.in. I don't remember. So Startup India website, government website, it has a database of startups. You can go and find all the startups in a district by looking in that database. Can you imagine, right? Every startup in a district. And there are startups in every district of India today. Okay, sometimes people say, I am from a small city, there is no startup here. I said, have you looked? Look, you will find. If you want to find startups in Cochin, go Google startups in Cochin, Google startups in Siliguri. Where are you from? Startups in Bhopal, Google startups in Indore. You will find lots of startups. Go to accelerators. Okay, every district has an accelerator more or less today, right? Take startup accelerator. They will have some startups listed there. They will be hosting some startups in their incubator and so on. So you can find startups. Finding startups, if you can't find startups, then you have other problems, right? So look, at least you will find. Sorry. So Okay. So working for industry bodies and voluntary organization is very important. So when I started volunteering with Startup Saturday, Head Start Network, very soon I got opportunities to speak. A speaker dropped out, refused to come. So I became speaker and I went and spoke about law. And I got another client or two clients. I realized very soon that I want to speak at as many startup events as possible, because every time I go to a startup event and I talk about things, I get clients every single time. Okay. And it happens. It's an amazing way to get clients, right? So you can work with industry bodies, voluntary organizations. It will really help you to get clients. Testimonials, very important. So imagine your client is very happy with you. They can leave you testimonials on platforms like LinkedIn. They can leave you, on things like, very good freelancing platforms are there, Upwork, Fiverr. They can leave their feedback over there. It really, really helps, right, to get more clients, right? Even if you've worked for free with someone, tell them to write you a recommendation on their LinkedIn profile, on your testimonials, LinkedIn testimonial, and so on. It will be wonderful. Even if you work for free, get like at least 5-6 testimonials from people, the kind of clients you want. Work for free with some, get testimonials, and then you'll see what happens, right? People will have much higher trust in you. Events is very, very important, right? You can attend events right now, mostly online events, but no harm. You can attend online events. You can volunteer for online events. You need to track all the events that are happening in that industry, right? So if you're looking at space tech, so what are the events happening in space tech? If you're looking at clean energy tech, clean tech, then what events are happening in that domain? Attend those events. Okay. Don't miss them. See the industry publications, like are there certain blogs or certain forums that everyone in that industry is reading? You need to track that, reach out to all of those. Reach out to startup founders who need legal help but do not have any, or maybe cannot even afford right now. Reach out to such startup founders and help them out, right? At this point, a lot of people ask me, so today, so far, nobody has asked though, is this not solicitation? Anybody has this question? Is this not solicitation? Is this not illegal? Lawyers are not supposed to solicit. Anybody has had that question at this point yet? Yeah, nobody's saying anything. So tell me, is this solicitation or not? Whatever we said, this strategy, is it solicitation? Yes, no, maybe. Why not solicitation? Dilesh or Dipankur all saying no, it's not solicitation. Why not solicitation? It will be solicitation if you go to people and say, give me work, right? I am a tech lawyer, give me work. That is solicitation. Okay, you can't do that. You cannot run an advertising saying on Google that I am a tech lawyer. Do you need contracts drafted? Come to me. Can't do that, right? Not demanding, begging, beseeching, requesting anything. You can't ask people to give you work. But can you go and tell people that I want to educate you? I want to do a free workshop for you. I am doing a webinar on how tech startups should deal with these compliances. Would you like to attend? Is this solicitation? It's not. So you can educate people, you can write blog posts, you can do YouTube videos, you can organize events, you can do a whole lot of things, right? It's not solicitation, right? You can even offer to help them as a charity, free of cost, as a pro bono work for small startups. Nobody will create any problem to you for these reasons, right? And this is how, you should not never solicit, so be careful about that aspect also. But educating and sharing content is not soliciting. Very good, Dilesh, right? So how can 𝗨𝗔 help you? Okay, very basic. There are two things. You need this knowledge and skills. There is a lot of things to learn in technology law. And yesterday somebody called me and said that, sir, I have not bought your course, although I see it is a good course, but I want to find mentors and learn from them without paying any money. I said, sure. It is not impossible to learn it that way. It is possible. Maybe you can find a mentor and get them to teach you, but what will they get in return? Right? Do you want them to do it for free? Either you'll have to work for them for many years and they'll slowly teach you. But if they are going to teach you all these things instead of doing their own work, they are also giving up something. They're giving up their time, most valuable commodity. What will they get in return? And for a moment, imagine that people will teach you. But it's something as simple as this, right? So when I'm hungry, I need to eat food, right? I would prefer to cook it in my own kitchen and eat it. If I need, or I order from somewhere, I buy the grocery and cook it at home and eat it. Or am I going to ask people, on my neighbors or my friends, that give me food, give me food? Sure, if I ask, sometimes people will give me food also. But do I want to do that? Absolutely not. It's a wastage of time. So very simple. If you have in 𝗏𝗏 in one place, you can learn all these things very quickly. So she said that, but I have a problem with paying the fees. So I said, okay, how much money do you earn? She said, I earn 30,000 rupees every day, every month, 30,000 rupees. I said, great. So if you do the course, which costs 30,000 or something like that, how long will it take you to recover that money and make a profit on the investment? Right? So if you grow it from even 30,000 to 40,000 or 50,000 by learning all this new work, you will recover the money in 1 or 2 months, maximum 3 months. What are you so worried about? So I think that is, you need to think about that. You need this knowledge and skills. It will rapidly help you to grow in your practice. And so many of our students are doing it, getting jobs also in good law firms. If you want a job, that is also possible, internships, jobs. And really forget internships and jobs. You can really, even from a startup to by doing this kind of contract drafting, compliance, you can easily earn 10, 20, 30,000. Very rapidly people recover this money. And in fact, yeah, you can earn in lakhs. You don't have to earn in thousands, right? So that is the magic of this work. There is massive potential in this. Even for drafting one contract, you can charge 10,000, 20,000. For 1 month of compliance support, you can charge 10,000, 20,000. It's not a problem, right? So you have to learn the work. Second is that you have to build a track record, right? So you have to know the work, then you have to build a track record. You have to write articles, publish, you have to do events, you have to connect with people. There are a bunch of things to be done. And with 𝗏𝗏, you will get full guidance on all of these things, right? So when you try to do it for the first time, you'll make mistakes, you will feel underconfident. With 𝗏𝗏, you will get the right kind of push and the right kind of guidance to actually do these things, right? Harshita is asking, as a fresh graduate, how can I start with this area of practice? First, you should learn the work, Harshita. Second, you can reach out to all these people. Like I showed you how to reach out to startups, right? Find the startups in your city, even in other cities. For that matter, you can even apply to Silicon Valley startups today. Okay. Okay. So I have a webinar coming up tomorrow, right? So it is, what are the 20 most in-demand tech law skills every lawyer should learn? So if you're a lawyer, I'm going to tell you about 20 most in-demand tech law skills that you should be learning. And I'll show you. Here is the link. Here is the page, right? Please go and register here. If you are watching this on YouTube, it's very easy. Nothing difficult. Right? Just go to 𝗏𝗏.com/webinars. Go to 𝗏𝗏.com/webinars. There you'll be able to find this particular you'll be able to find this on YouTube. Nothing difficult. I'll actually share the link here also on YouTube. Here you go. You have to register here if you want to attend this webinar tomorrow. So how many of you plan to attend this tomorrow? How many of you want to attend this tomorrow? Okay. And can I request also share this in at least one WhatsApp group of your friends or other lawyers who you think can benefit from this? Share the link with them also, because I see too few people here today, and since I'm spending so much time an effort. I would love it if there are more people coming. So how many of you promise to share this with at least one WhatsApp group today? Great. Apart from Deepankar, anyone else? Dileshwar, Divya, Manoj, Dhananjay, Harshita, Suvanshi, Rasika. Great. Thank you. Really appreciate. Tapas, thank you. Minal, please share it with at least one group of your other lawyer friends or classmates or wherever possible, right? Who you think can benefit from this. All right, super. So a couple more slides are there. Let me pull it up. Oh, that's it. There is a webinar. There is a workshop I want you to attend. There's a workshop on, so, it is really easy to get paralegal work and even work with tech companies in the US. And I'm having a workshop, okay, on 31st of January, where I will be explaining how to get paralegal work for Indian lawyers from foreign tech lawyers, foreign tech startups, okay? And it's great. You can earn a lot of money from this. You can earn 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees per month by doing paralegal work, sitting in India, okay, with US tech companies. I'll tell you the kind of work you have to do, how to get such work, all of that. So how many of you will be interested in that? Working with US companies. And there are a lot of benefits of this. You can eventually transition into US jobs, or if you want to do LLM in the US, etc. This is a very, very good opportunity. So how many of you would like to attend this? Well, it's a very exciting, I am really excited about this workshop. So how many of you would like to attend this workshop? Yeah, okay. So definitely see you in this workshop, okay? And any one of you is interested in doing the course on technology law from 𝗨𝗂, right? Reach out to us. We are here to help you. The enrollment is on. You have the new batch starts from 1st of February. So if you're interested, let us know. We are happy to help you to enroll. And that's it. That's all I want. Oh, there's one more thing before you go. Very important. How many of you would like to keep in touch with me in the future? I would invite you to join me on Twitter. So if you want to keep in touch with me in the future, this is my Twitter account. Right here is my Twitter account. Please uh, make sure you follow me on Twitter, and you can tweet at me and request me to follow you back. I'll follow you back, and I share a lot of insights and ideas over here. So you'll be benefiting from it if you follow me on Twitter. Also, Twitter is one of the best. So Subhashini is saying I don't use Twitter. So that's a problem, Subhashini. You must use Twitter. LinkedIn and Twitter are two places where you definitely want to be. These two social media is very important for lawyers because your clients are here. You can reach out to your clients. You can build your audience. You can build your track record, right? So very important. You should be on these platforms. You should post good contents. If you want to be a tech lawyer, don't say I am not on Twitter. Imagine you can access the entire Silicon Valley on Twitter. You can access all the who's who of Indian technology world, right? So all the advice I give you today, one of the things is that you should be on Twitter. Don't say I'm not on Twitter. It takes you 2 minutes to create a Twitter account. Create a Twitter account. Definitely follow me and also start posting on Twitter about your area of legal interest. Start posting about law. Start posting insights on Twitter and on LinkedIn. Okay, and follow all the tech guys, all the tech company founders, startup founders, investors. Okay, very important. Follow all of them. It will help you. Okay. Any questions I can answer? Any questions you like me to answer? Please ask me. Happy to answer at this point, or we can end the session. How will you rate today's session? 0 being pathetic, 10 being amazing. How much will you rate today's session? 0 to 10. Wow, 100 out of 10. Thank you very much, Dhananjay. All right. Super. All 10 out of 10. Anybody, if you have a different opinion, you think there's something I can improve, uh, happy to get negative feedback as well. Let me know how we can improve, what we can change, what I can do differently. That'll help you. Can you give some highlights on technology course? Sure. Why, Harshita, why don't you can have a chat with one of our counselors, they'll guide you. And come tomorrow for tomorrow's webinar. There I'll be telling you about the skills you need to learn, right? 20 very important skills. So when you learn those 20 important skills, with those things we teach, so it will give you a much better clarity as to kind of skills you need to learn as a technology. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate your time and effort to be here. How should you connect? Just write to webinars@𝗏𝗏𝐶𝑖.in, right? Webinars@𝗏𝗏𝐶𝑖.in, and I say I want to connect with someone for counseling. Or you can go to 𝗏𝗏𝐶𝑖.in and there's a chat. Go to 𝗏𝗏𝐶𝑖.in, there's a chat will pop up. Go and write there, I want counseling, I want career guidance, and I want to know what is there in the course and how it will help me, and they'll guide you from there. Okay. Okay, Harshita. Awesome talking. Good talking to you.